Absolutely.
There's a whole range of problems that we need solving. You mentioned one and only one, which was that we have a system of institutionalized minority rule. Now, that's a fairly non-trivial objection. And the reason I say that is we have fundamentally ingrained in us the idea of majority rule. And you can see that in our parliament, where a majority of MPs has to pass every piece of legislation. If somebody proposed that, let's let 37% of the MPs pass legislation, I suspect there'd be riots in the streets. The only reason there isn't is because we're preserving the form of 50%, but not the actual reality. They're only representing 37%. So institutional minority rule is one part. The fact that some votes are worth many multiples of others in terms of their ability to elect MPs. We're supposed to have a system of one person, one vote. Again, we have the form of it. We give everybody one ballot, but they don't have the same effective weight. The fact that people can't
Just
vote...
explain that, because some ridings have 150,000.
No, that's another issue, is the different size of ridings. But if you look at any given election, it will take, let's say, 40,000 votes to elect each Liberal MP, but it takes 60,000 votes to elect each Conservative MP. It takes 100,000 votes to elect each NDP. And the Greens get close to 1 million votes and get 0 or get 1. So there's a vast disparity in the effective weight of each vote. If you look at the fact that people can't often vote for the party of their preference because they're afraid of splitting the vote. So instead of voting for the party they like, they have to vote for a party they dislike to keep a party they detest from getting in. And then all of those things are just what happens on election day. And perhaps the worst effects of the present system is what happens every day in between, because it's such a highly leveraged system. A 2% swing in the popular vote leads to an enormous swing in the number of seats. One consequence is we go through incredible lurches back and forth from election to election in terms of the policies that are enacted, not because public opinion has shifted that way, but because a few swing votes have gone back and forth. So, for example, in Ontario, we went from David Peterson's Liberals to Bob Rae's NDP to Mike Harris's Conservative in the space of 5 years. Did the public opinion shift in Ontario that way? No. That's incredibly destabilizing. The final point is, the argument that's supposed to be for our system, as it is now, is, well, whatever its other faults, it produces stable majority governments. 9 of the last 20 federal elections have resulted in minority governments. You might get stable majorities if you only had 2 parties, but we haven't had 2 parties in Canada since 1921. So we have a system that's not suited to the actual landscape of the parties that we have. It's not producing stability. It's just wildly oscillating between unstable minorities and unrepresentative majorities. And those minorities, final point, are unstable for that leverage reason. Again, we think of minority governments as being unstable because everybody's got their finger over the button because they think, oh, 2% swing in the polls, we're going to force an election. When you take the leverage out of it, when you have a proportional system, everybody calms down. They know that they can't, there's no big upside in forcing a quickie election, and you just get on with governing.